Hi, welcome back. In this video we talk about Web Application Firewall. This is another module of BitNinja. The web is the most vulnerable interface on most of the servers. I think you agree with me on this. Having a powerful web application firewall is an essential part of the defense toolset if you have any web content hosted. The biggest challenge of a WAF is to find a balance between security level and false positive rate. You don't want a weak web application firewall, but you cannot afford many false positive either, because clients will complain about not being able to connect to your server, even they don't perform any malicious activities. Generally speaking, web application firewalls monitor, filter, and block incoming and outgoing traffic on HTTP protocol. Through a deep analysis, it's a good protection shield against web hacks like injection flows, such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, session hijacking, remote and local file inclusion, and other attacks. BitNinja WAF 2.0 only scans incoming traffic currently in real time with a built-in HTTP proxy solution. For outbound traffic filtering, there is a different module called Outbound WAF that we are going to talk about later. Upon activation, BitNinja adds an iptable rule to your NAT iptable to redirect all traffic coming from port 80 to a port dedicated for BitNinja WAF 2.0. The WAF process analyzes the incoming traffic and makes a connection to your local HTTP server to fetch the actual content. Without any more introduction, let's see it in action. Right, before you enable the WAF 2.0 module, there are some steps that you have to take to enjoy the full functionality of the WAF module. It's very important to set your server's IP address as trusted proxy to see the real visitor's IP address in your server access log files, as well as update the log format directive in your web server config file. Here we are going to see the access logs for Apache, and as you can see, the source of the request is 3.3.3.3. So what's happening actually? The client will connect to the WAF module, and the WAF module will connect after filtering the traffic to the Apache, and Apache will see the request made from the WAF instead of seeing them from the actual clients. Right, let's give it a try. I'm going to refresh a page here on the attacker's machine, and as you can see, the traffic continues to come from 3.3.3. Right, so we need to make some changes. First of all, we have to enable an Apache module using this command. I have already done this. The module is already enabled, but I have to actually make some further configurations in order to see the actual IP address of the client. Right, so in order to do that, let's make some modifications to Apache config file. I'm going to search for log format with Ctrl W. So log format is case sensitive. And here I'm going to replace the H with A because I want to see all the accurate information, and also add a new line containing this information. So remote IP header x-forwarded 4. So remote IP header x-forwarded 4. Right. After I have replaced all the information here on log format and I have added this line, I'm going to exit with Ctrl X, and I'm going to restart systemctl Apache 2 restart to restart the server. And now let's visit again the log file and create some requests. And we are going to see the real IP address of the client. Perfect. So this was what we had to do before enable the WAF. Actually, the WAF is working without it, but we are not going to see the real IP address of the client. Now let's go back to the dashboard of BitNinja. Here I have a special menu for WAF 2.0 where I can further configure the web application filter. Let's see it in action. By default, it's configured for the entire web server, and it has by default a BitNinja safe minimum rule set. So it's like a basic configuration. I have different configurations that I can apply, different rules, different set of rules that I can apply for the same web server and the all websites that are hosted here, that are pre-configured by BitNinja, so I can easily apply in between them. And for that I can go to this and I can choose to disable web application filter for this pattern. I can lock it down in case the website is already maybe hacked and I have a lot of malware, a lot of backdoors, and until I'm going to clean it up, I still want to use it as a read-only website. So I can press this button and I'm not going to do, the clients are not going to be able to send any post request, only get requests. So they will be able to read the data from the website but not send anything to prevent further infection. So I can do this from here by checking this. There is two possible actions, challenge and graylist IP. So it means if the attacker sends some malicious traffic, the IP will be graylisted and the captcha will be shown, or only log. So I can only monitor the WAF is not doing any active actions, is like only detects attacks and logs them and shows them to me. And I have here 3 default rule set template that we are going to talk about in a second. Right. I can create different rule sets for different website patterns or different website co-hosted on the same server. For instance, I have an admin page. So let's say I have example.com-admin.php or only admin section, something like this. I have an admin section and I can add it and create a different pattern for this, a different rule set for this pattern, right? So I want to be more strict with this, so strict rule set and click save, right? So for the admin section I'll have a strict rule set, but for the rest of the website I'll have a safe minimum, right? So different patterns. Right, now let's speak about rule set templates. So I can manage them and I can create my own. So let's say a custom 3.3.3 or whatever you want to call it. Add new, and I'm going to start from safe minimum, right? So I'm going to start from safe minimum. Sorry. Let's go back and manage them. I want to change this custom and I'm going to further edit it to make it as I want to. So here are different rule sets that are possible here, and for now, as you can see, they are all disabled. So I can further enable what rule set I want, what rules I want, right? So if I want to have a virtual honeypot enabled, I can just check it here or check either of those, right? If I want to check both of them, I can check it from here, from the entire, for the entire section. Okay, let's disable it and let's enable it from here. and let's enable it from here as well. Right, so here you also have a description. For example, this rule set will trigger of any request to a file with a post method. So you can create virtual honeypot location if you want to, and so on. For now, I'm going to leave this disabled for my custom pattern. Let's go further. WordPress vector protection, I'm going to enable it to have this protection. I don't have Drupal on this website, so I'm not interested in this. Furthermore, I can enable this for remote code execution for modix. I want detect scanning for different bootnets. This is Magento, is not the case. And also I want to be protected for plugin vulnerability protection. And here I have, you may remember, duplicator plugin, and the web application filter have a rule set that will protect against this attack that we have performed in the first section of this course. Right, so I'm going to enable this as well. Furthermore, I have different attacks based on OWASP vulnerabilities, so I'm going to enable most of them. Protocol attack, local file inclusion, remote file inclusion, and furthermore you can see different rules for each of this section, right? So if you wanna detect for crawler and disable it or enable it, it's up to you depending on your website, right? So maybe you don't want to do this for now, but you want to enable this for vulnerability security checks. The best part is at the end, when you will, after you configure all the rule set, in order to make sure that you don't have false positives and you don't lock your clients out, you can choose to only log what's happening, not block the clients. And I'm going to show you again how to do it. For now, let's check this. Depending on my website, I don't have an ES, so I can leave it disabled. Usually it's good to also enable it, because the default vulnerability scanners for web applications will have different plugins that will scan for different paths. So even I have an Apache, they will scan for paths that are for EES if whoever uses the scanner doesn't configure it properly. So we can do this because even you have an Apache, if there is automatic vulnerability scanner, will try to look for EES custom path, so you will detect that you are being scanned. So we can leave it enabled. Right, and the same would apply for this as well. And you have further details about each plugin and what it does. Right. Okay, I'm going to save it. I'm going back to WAF, and I'm going to choose the rule set template for my website to custom 3.3.3, and here you have the option only to log. So at the beginning I would recommend to leave it like log only, in order to make sure that clients will not be locked out, and in time to further customize the custom rule set in order to only detect real attackers, not the actual clients, right? Good. In this case, I'm going to challenge and graylist in order to show you how it works, how the WAF works, right? And here we'll have how many times will be triggered and how many times will be false. Right, and this I'm not going to need it because I don't have an example.com website on my web server. So you can leave it or you can remove it. but not to make it not to make the rule set big. I'm going to remove it. Right, now let's go here back on the server card view and make sure the WAF 2.0 is enabled. Right, this module is enabled. Right, so I can further check the sec rule for this WAF, and this is the path, and I'm going to show you right away what output we will have. So you might remember the request that we have performed in the first steps of our course when we try to exploit, and we have exploited the duplicator plugin, right? So we try to put here a backdoor on a test.php file, right? And we are able to exploit the web server in this way, and we have created a backdoor that we later connected and get access to the web server. Let's try again now with the WAF enabled. It will take a little bit after you change the policies to be applied on the server, maybe 30 seconds or so. Not very long, but let's try it. Right, so as you can see, I'm able to navigate freely on the website. I'm going to check the IP address. So as you can see, it's not on a gray list of any BitNinja user. It's not a global gray list, so it's all right. The IP is all right. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to perform the same attack again that I have performed in the first videos of this course. So I'm going to try to install a backdoor. So first response I get is 302 found nginx. And if you remember, we have an Apache as a web server, but the nginx is answering. And this is because the reverse proxy is actually nginx. So the web application filters recognize the attack and blocks us. So it sends us to a domain like this. So it doesn't exist. So it doesn't allow us to connect to actual server. And let's try again and see what's happening. We get another attack. So it's a forbidden attack. And if we render it, we recognize the page, even the JavaScript is not fully loaded, right? But if you refresh here, actually we'll recognize the page again. So let's see the logs and see what's happened. So this is the log for the WAF manager, and the log says there is a sec rule in place and someone tried to exploit this vulnerability to this plugin. So it recognizes the attack, and also it says severity critical, right? So let's see what's happening here. So I'm going to search again for event history for this IP address. And you can see the difference now, right? So first of all, it's on a gray list already. You recognize it from the CAPTCHA, and you see what request did I send. And the module that has detected this, so is BitNinja Web Application Firewall. And also, I didn't yet delisted the IP address, right? So if you go to network attacks, choose the server, you'll see the same logs again. So someone attacked it, and the module that has detected this is BitNinja WAF, right? And if we go further to WAF, in a while it will trigger here. It will show that how many times this custom rule has been triggered, right? One time, and this is a false, is not a false positive, right? So this is web application filter, and this is how easy it is to choose to protect your server. As I told you, there are custom rules that you can create, or there are rule set templates that you can choose. And I recommend you, if you go with strict ones, to first log it and monitor the logs to make sure you don't have actual attacks, and improve the security little by little in order to maintain the false positive to a lower minimum possible. So this is Web Application Filter 2.0 from BitNinja.